Greetings to all the students. I welcome you all on the YouTube platform of NextIS, and you are watching Daily News Analysis, an initiative where we discuss important articles published in the newspapers and the PIB. Today, with the help of this video, the topics that we are going to cover are communication satellite, I would say Bahubali communication satellite, second, welfare based politics in India, third, PM-DevINE, fourth, UNESCO creative city, and fifth, violence in elections, a case of India. So now, without wasting time, let's deep dive with the first topic visible over your screen is that ISRO scripts history as Bahubali rocket index heaviest satellite in orbit. Right? This topic is in domain because recently the CMS-03, yesterday the CMS-03 communication satellite with the payload of over more than 4,000 kg have been launched by the ISRO. So it's a very huge success for our space exploration. Space exploration, the word, one thing that comes to our mind is that recently India's space economy is going in a transformative expansion because of the recent technological advancement. And why would we say so thing? There are certain data to quote this thing. First, if I talk about the data from onwards 2014 to 2024 December, तो 2014 में there were only one single startup company based for the space exploration in 2014. But now by the end of December 2024, there are 250 around startups who are working for the space exploration. First data. Second data, right from 2014 to December 2024, the government says that around 2 lakh jobs has been given to the people across the space exploration sector. Not even. One another aspect that the patent case, right, that ISRO at this moment hold around 500 plus patents just for the space exploration aspect. Another aspect, if I talk this aspect with respect to the tele-education, right, and telemedicine. So in tele-education, we have around 60,000 plus students. In telemedicine, we have around 25,000 plus patients who have been imparted the services, education and medicine respectively to the needed people with more than 60,000 and more than 25,000 K successfully. Apart from that as well, that the satellite, this satellite base has reduced the cyclone base death in India, and still it is being helpful in predicting the weather forecasting. I would say the better prediction of the weather forecasting, increasement in the crop production in India, and the usage of the different humanitarian aspect. So the ultimate thing is that based on the space exploration over the particular years, India has experiencing a greater significance, and that is why launching in this part, India has yesterday launched the communication satellite CMS-03 with weighing around 4.4 thousand kg on a LVM light vehicle Mark 3 M5 rocket, enabling the Indian Space Agency to complete this feat. Now the point is why this feat is so important. This feat is so important because you know that first of all you need to understand that this is also a replacement to the GSAT 7 series which was launched in 2013. So GSAT 2019 was for November 2018, then GSAT 24 for June, and now CMS-3. So ultimately we have been shifting towards, it will be a 3-stage, right? It will be a 3-stage. Now apart from that as well, why do we need to focus on this thing? मतलब क्यों लगातार बैठ के साइंटिस्ट इसके बारे में लगातार बैठ के प्रयास कर रहे हैं, सोचने की ज्यादा आवश्यकता ही क्या है? Now when we think about this thing, then this significance comes to our mind. Why the significance? The first and the foremost thing that comes to our mind is, remember in 2013 onwards, we started our lunar missions and the Mars orbiter missions. Recently in 2024, we completed the docking, perhaps in the February 2025, we completed the docking mission as well, which is helpful for our space exploration. Now the ultimate thing is we needed to get a capacity which may send a 4,000 plus kg object to the orbit. And for that matter, this launch is successful in India's future applications, especially after that when we are going to launch our space station by 2035. Now, apart from that, the first significance is first the payload capacity milestone we have just discussed. Second, reduced dependency on the foreign launch vehicle. Why? Because India for earlier for launching the heavy vehicles were dependent upon the Ariane, SpaceX or heavier load set, especially for the Inmarsat constellation, right? So that will definitely reduce the independence. The dependence upon the foreign countries, and not only dependence, but it will even stand India in a position globally, or I would say competitively in a globally position, that other countries may ask India to launch its own or satellites to the orbit. So in near future, that will be a boost to the space economy. That means boost to the exchequer as well, right? Plus boost to defense communication infrastructure. There has been a say that this especially this CMS-03 is designed especially for a better communication infrastructure for the Indian Navy. Voice recording and video data can be transferred easily. So that will be major part. And now the main point is the real-time secure communication enhances operational readiness and strategic reach as well of the Indian Navy. Earlier, Indian Navy was fully dependent upon Inmarsat constellation for the strategic communication needs of naval assets. One more thing as we need to understand that for the precision, strategic advancement, we need a heavy communication satellite which can give a marginal, the 5 centimeter base or below 10 centimeter base kind of resolution to the armed forces, so that a better planning can take place. So from that strategic angle, this is a very great landmark achievement. Plus enabler for future mission, we have just discussed this thing. Plus commercial spillover implication, the ability to launch bigger satellites may attract commercial payloads, and it will be subordinate by the private sector participation, which will definitely export potential for the launch services in near future. Technology maturation, that the mission test validates there are certain technologies for say cryogenic, for say इसमें बोला जा रहा है that the second part will be based on the cryogenic technique, the third stage, sorry, right? So we will have understanding about the total strengthening of the overall the system in India. Plus boost to Gaganyaan mission, we just quoted. डॉकिंग हम लोगों ने कर ली, गगनयान मिशन 2013 से हम लोग करते आ रहे हैं. 24 के अंदर वी वर द फर्स्ट वन टू लॉन्च इन द साउथ पोल of the moon. So ultimately this will again give a impetus to the human or the non-human related missions in the near future. And last, paving way for the space station for the near future, जो हम लोग बात कर चुके हैं. Now the key challenge. If we go very general wise, so the first and the foremost key challenge that comes to our mind is a lack of skilled man force, or I would say the workforce. Lack of skilled workforce. This is the first and the foremost challenge. And the second will be imparting the same. Second will be imparting the same investment in education. Education where it is linked with the space exploration and space mission specific knowledge. And then afterwards, we need to create a specific, chain, or I would say the space chain related ecosystem, so that a consistency and the sustainability for the space economy may take place, right? But now the key challenge respect to this communication satellite. The first, mass versus orbit trade-off. Handling more than 4,000 kg of the GTO, ISRO slightly lowered the orbit, which is the apogee, right? Which is 36,000, but ISRO ne kara hai 29 for 970,000. Second, upper stage performance. The cryogenic stage must deliver 50% of the velocity change to reach the GTO. Any insufficient thrust or propellant margin reduces the payload or raises the risk, right? ये बात भी क्यों है? Because it has been said that earlier it would push to the apg part, right? उसके बाद सॉरी पेरी की पार्ट फिर वो जाके अपोजी में हम लोग को बैठ के वो थ्रस्ट करेगा. ये सिस्टम हम लोगों ने एलबीएम के ऐसे ही बैठ के बनाया यहाँ पे, राइट? रिलायबिलिटी, हैवी लिफ्ट मिशंस हैव हाई स्टेक्स, फेलियर और फ्यूचर फेलियर इज कॉस्टली एंड रेपुटेटिवली सेंसिटिव एज वेल. एक बार अगर हम लोग फेल हो जाएंगे तो इट विल ब्रेक द ट्रस्ट ऑफ द फॉरेन other space explorations and the satellites to be launched from India's land. Cost and economic. The bigger rockets are more if commercial launch services are to be viable. So cost per kgs must be competitive. Although we are in a much fruiter situation, considering that during the Mars exploration we had the total cost of the entire project just in 1.4 done by the NASA, right? But sustainability needs to be maintained. Manufacturing and integration. Larger satellites required advanced manufacturing, thermal control, structural strength and integration with the larger launch missions as well. And last, a space environment. That means for geosynchronous orbit, the satellite must handle radiation, maintain station keeping, thermal extremes and etc. And why? Because as the mass increases, the satellite's complexity increases too. So that physics needs to be maintained or it will be a challenge as well. Now a little bit of additional information with respect to this space economy part. See, the government of India just a couple of months back launched a venture fund of 1000 crores. 1000 करोड़ का भारत सरकार ने एक वेंचर फंड स्टार्ट किया. पर्पस क्या था? पर्पस था टू प्रोपेल द प्राइवेट कंपनीज टू बिकम पार्ट ऑफ द स्पेस एक्सप्लोरेशन, टू इनेबल द इकोसिस्टम फॉर द स्पेस एक्सप्लोरेशन एंड मोर ओवर not only the capital fusion but also there were earlier the data that because of the lack of the commitment from the side of the government and the lack of investment, the lack of support, the good companies used to leave India. So brain drain with respect to the space exploration was taking place in India. So this venture fund is there to stop that as well, right? So venture fund will be under the aegis of this in space, that is Indian National Space Promotion and Authorized Center. What it is? It is a nodal agency that functions as an autonomous agency in the Department of States, right? It is responsible to promote, enable, authorize, supervise various space activities of non-governmental entities and building launch vehicles, satellites, provide space-based services, sharing the the space infrastructure premises under the control of the ISRO and establishing a new space infrastructure and facilities whenever needed. For example, creation of the second launch vehicle in different place. Plus, the agency acts as an interface between ISRO and the non-government entities and assess how to utilize India's space resources better and increase its space-based activities in near future. That means it is it gives recommendation as well. Plus, it also assesses the needs and the demands of the private players, including the educational and the research institutions, and explore ways to accommodate those requirements with consultation with ISRO and with the government. So it is ultimately bridging the gap between the non-governmental entities and the government entities with respect to the space exploration and space economy view aspect. Now this is the practice question visible over your screen. Do practice it and let us know the answer in the comment section. Now let's start with today's second topic visible over your screen is welfare dependency or governance reform. Actually this article quotes regarding the Bihar's people's right to choose the government, but this article covers regarding that how the welfare based politics and the governance reform based politics is different, right? So they are actually giving a startling data, not the data but a viewpoint, that in what manner the Bihar people is going to elect the government or in what manner. So in this article we are talking regarding the welfare politics in India, which is the increasing role of a state in providing social, economic, material benefits to citizens through subsidies, cash transfers, and public services, right? For say from free food grains to LPG subsidies to health insurance to employment generation activities or schemes, the welfare has become a central feature of India's politics over the particular decade, I would say, or the particular time after India's independence. However, the rise of the welfare politics has sparked a debate. How? That it is empowering citizens through social justice or encouraging dependency and fiscal populism is good for countries' health, democratic populism or not. So, within this light, we will talk regarding the welfare part associated. But before that, a little bit of historical aspect that how the welfare politics part in India, in Indian democracy evolved over the years. So, if I talk about the data between 1950s to 1970s, that the welfare was linked with national building, it was linked with national building and socialism. And that is why you may say that during this time we have certain schemes like community development program, public distribution food scheme and etc. right? And then afterwards, if I talk about the era of 1991 onwards, that means the era of a post liberalization, then we may say that because of the growing economic might after we opened our economy, right, we calibrated our very different targeted welfare approach, right? And for that matter, we may witness that onwards 2025 Manrega is visible, right? NRHM is visible, right to education is visible, RTI we may say as well in this domain. But after the 2014, अगर मैं 2014 के बाद की बात करता हूँ, right? So onwards 2014, we are witnessing in India a competitive nature of the welfare, or I would say the politically competitive nature which led to the augmentation of the freebies in India or direct benefit transfer for other parts. So, the changing nature of the welfare politics in India is quite visible. Now, the question is, if the freebies are there and any single time we have the freebies, either giving freebies in terms of the buses ticket or freebies when we are waiving the entire loan or other things. So, generally we have this idea and the discussion that what exactly it has the impact upon our economy, right? So, that means this freebies culture or the politically welfare based competitive culture in India has led to the different arguments to take place. So, in this domain, we will talk about the positives and the negatives, but before that, that's the nature of welfare politics. The first is right base, for say right to work Manrega, right to food, National Food Security Act, right to education, right to health, Ayushman Bharat, right? Plus कॉम्पिटिटिव पॉपुलिज्म के बारे में मैंने अभी बैठ के आपसे बात करी है, जैसे कि दिल्ली सरकार आपसे कहती है दिल्ली फ्री पावर एंड वाटर स्कीम्स, तमिलनाडु अम्मा कैंटीन्स, तेलंगाना रैयत बंधु और पंजाब फ्री इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एटसेट्रा, राइट? नाउ what are the drivers of the welfare politics in India? ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? तो first is the persistent inequality. Despite the growth, despite the GDP growth in India, we know that in India there are many amount of people who are under extreme poverty, and perhaps the reason that after onwards 2015 the no government data has been given in the public domain, and the World Bank says that the Gini index भारत के अंदर वो लगातार बैठ के हाई है. इसका मतलब क्या है? That the inequality is definitely there. Some of the some months back IMF came up with the data that इंडिया में करीबन 3% के आसपास लोग के पास उतना पैसा है जितना बाकियों के पास 1/6 है उनका, राइट? सो हाई गिनी इंडेक्स रिमेन्ड a very high inequality in India, a very cause of concern. That means I may spend 100 rupee without thinking, but there are other 6 people who may think even spending 10 rupee. So वो inequality के लिए उस redistributive method को maintain करने के लिए we need this welfare part of politics. First thing. Second, electoral competition. The multi-party democracy encourages. एक पार्टी ने अगर कर दिया है और वो लगातार जीत भी गया है. I'll give you one example. 2017-18 के बाद में द फार्म लोन वेवर अगर आप देखते हैं तो इट वाज वेरी pretty rampant in India. And one of the data that came that in around 18 states just before the election the farm loan waiver was declared. And out of the 18 times 16 बार तो वो राज्य की सरकार ने करा था, 2 बार भारत की सरकार ने करा था, मतलब केंद्र की सरकार ने करा था. And out of those 16 times, dear friends, now remember 14 times the party who declared the farm loan waiver came to the party. मतलब they won the election. That means this multi-party democracy बोलती है कि वोटर ओरिएंटेड वेलफेयर पॉलिसी लेके आओ so that हम लोग जीत के भी आ सकें. Third, technological innovation. See, there are nowadays the GEM treaty is there, DBT transfer is there, Aadhaar linkage is there. So we have reduced the middleman. So that means if the government says that I am giving you 1,000 amount of money under any kind of state government scheme, that I am giving you 1,000 directly into your bank account, right? So वो आपके लिए थोड़ा सा फायदेमंद है. Plus federalism and political identity. States design welfare modules to strengthen regional identity. For say Tamil Nadu dividend model, आंध्र प्रदेश का नवरत्ना लन्नालू और समथिंग. सो वो थोड़ा ज्यादा ध्यान देते हैं. Fifth, social justice imperative. Welfare politics aligned with our constitutional morality. How? Because it ensuring upliftment of scheduled tribes, scheduled castes, women and the marginalized people in India. Now the significance of the welfare politics in India. First, inclusive growth. How? When we are giving you a certain amount of money, that means you will have the capacity to spend those money either or more specific to your basic needs. That means we are putting pushing you out of the extreme poverty. जैसे केरला के बारे में अभी बोला गया है, right? So reducing poverty and improving access to education, health and the livelihoods, right? जैसे मिड डे मील स्कीम है, सर्व शिक्षा अभियान है, this NPS की बात हम लगातार बैठ के कर रहे हैं. So this kind of thing is there. For example, National Food Security Act ensures the food security for over 80 crore people in India. और शायद यही वो कारण है कि प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण योजना it has been stretched to 2028. सरकार ने उसको रोका नहीं है. Second, empowerment through entitlement. Transform citizens from beneficiaries to right holders. For say Manrega as a legal right. It is a guaranteed job offered to you. Third, political stability. The welfare creates a trust between the political partnership and the citizens, especially in the rural India. The human development impact. It contributed to improved literacy rates, life expectancy, maternal health, and reduction in the extreme poverty as we have in the case of Kerala. Economic multiplier effect. The more the welfare spending, like rural employment, it will stimulate the consumption demand, especially in the rural economy. So ultimately it will be helpful for the rural development. And remember, once I have 1,000 rupees given by the central government and I have 1,000 rupees given by the state government, and all the basic needs are being given by the central government under different schemes. So that means I may have the power to spend those 2,000 on different items. That consumption will rise and will boost the rural economy. But now there are certain challenges. First is fiscal burden. How? The excessive freebies increase the fiscal deficit. जैसे कि RBI has cautioned that the state level populism could destabilize the finances. Second, targeting inefficiencies. For say leakages are there, ghost beneficiaries are there, political favoritisms remain the concerns despite the digital tools. For example, NK सक्सेना साहब की कमेटी आई थी. They said कि चंडीगढ़ जैसे राज्य के अंदर, यूटी के अंदर, चंडीगढ़ जैसे यूटी के अंदर one women was found with 800 ration cards. ये आधार के आने से पहले की बात है, right? So leakages, the ghost beneficiaries issues was there. Plus dependency culture. Critics argue that the constant role discourages the productivity. Why? I have the money. Why would I go out and work? Right? तो motivation कहाँ से आएगा? So either if the government is giving you the freebies, then there must be a kind of motivation aspect associated with the working nature. वो लगातार हो नहीं रहा है, right? So youth के अंदर एक dependency culture लगातार बैठ के बनता जा रहा है. Plus neglect of the productive sectors. Welfare often overshadows the long-term investment in education, agriculture, manufacturing, and the other sunrise sectors in the India. Inequality within welfare. For say, urban poor and informal workers remain excluded due to poor identification or lack of access. जैसे कि 40% किसानों को पता ही नहीं है कि सरकार उनको एमएसपी देती है, राइट? जनधन योजना सरकार ने ओपन कर दी, बट द डेटा वाज सीन दैट अराउंड ओनली 55 to 58 crores people have this data. What about the other 80 crores, or what about the other 70 crores? So this exclusion is still a greater challenge. What could be the way forward? That means the solution. The first is the balance between welfare and the productivity. That means the political democratic nature in India should shift from consumption based freebies to investment based welfare. That means education, health, and the skills fully. Second, fiscal responsibility. We need to enforce transparent reporting of the state welfare expenditure under the FRBM Act. Evidence based policy design. We need to use data analytics, social audits, and impact evaluation to measure the effectiveness. Empowerment, not dependency. We should encourage schemes that build human capability rather than provide the perpetual aid. जैसे कि हम लोग मनरेगा के बारे में बैठ के बात करते हैं, right? Plus cooperative federalism. There needs to be a better cooperation between the center and the state in welfare implementation to reduce duplication and ensure equity. Why? Because in most of the times in the schemes, the welfare scheme, there is a ratio of the money given by the center and the state, and majorly it is 60:40. If case of northeast, it is 90:10. So जब तक वो 40 रुपए ढंग से नहीं मिलेंगे, कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला. फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक उदाहरण देता हूं. Social audits in the मनरेगा was supposed to take place every month, and if it came to the limelight that the person who was supposed to award the employment did not get the job within 15 days, then unemployment money was need to be given by the state government. That unemployment this money was borne 100% by the state government. वो पैसा मिलता ही नहीं है, कम मिलता है या फिर, और ये बात लगातार कमिटी बोलती है, कैग की रिपोर्ट के अंदर ये बात फ्लैग हुई है, राइट? सो दीज आर दोज पॉइंट दैट cooperative federalism should take place. And one more thing as well, that not only cooperative, at this moment we should think towards leaning from cooperative federalism to becoming a competitive federalism, where a more good done by the other state will be imparted in a much better approach by the other state. So that ultimately drive the growth up, right? Now there is a practice question visible over your screen. Do practice it and let us know the answer in the comment section. This is a subjective question as well. इसको लिखिए आप लोग, right? कोई help हो, try to reach out to us in next IS. Now the third topic, which is visible over screen, is that Mr. Jyotiraditya Scindia lays foundation stone for integrated Sohra tourism circuit under PM-DevINE in Meghalaya. So what is this PM-DevINE? Right now, it is Prime Minister's development initiative for Northeastern region, was announced as a new central scheme with 100% central funding in the Union Budget of 2022-2023, with initial list of 7 projects and an allocation of 1500 crores. But now the scheme has an outlay of 6,600 crores with the over a period of 4 years from 2022 से 2025-26 तक लगातार बैठ के काम करेगा, right? It strive to fill the gaps in various sectors and will not be substitute for existing central and state schemes. This is important information for your prelims examinations. Now, what are the objectives of the PM-DevINE? First, fund infrastructure convergently in the spirit of PM Gati Shakti. That means give a more boost to the infrastructural development project taken care by the state government and the other central government. Second, support social development projects based on the felt need under the new national education policy. Third, enable livelihood activities for youth and women. That means activities where the jobs can be given to the people. Fourth, fill the development gaps in various sectors. अभी हम लोगों ने बात करी थी that there is a greater inequality to taken place. So we need to fill the gap of the development so that the inequality can be minimized in among the different states, right? Now, last important point with respect to the prelims is that this scheme is implemented by Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region to address region specific development needs, ensuring effective utilization of the resources and coordinate the projected execution of the better implementation of this particular scheme. Now, this is a practice question visible over a screen. Do practices and let us know the answer in the comment section. Now, this is another topic which is UNESCO's creative city of gastronomy. Why this topic? Because recently the Lucknow has been designated as the UNESCO's creative city of the gastronomy. So, from arts and culture perspective, this topic is very important. Now, the point is why it started, what is this creative city wala aspect, what other cities that has been there, or the things associated. So, this project launched in 2004, which aims to promote cooperation between cities around the world, whose common characteristics is the use of creativity to promote the sustainable urban development, right? Urban is the new word. Why? Why? Because Sustainable Development Goals 11 aims to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient and sustainable. Other cities that was there within the part were in the gastronomy sector were Alaba, Italy, Arequipa, Peru, Bergen, Norway, Belém, Brazil, Bendigo, Australia. Now, this is extremely important for the prelims examination. UPSC has a habit of asking direct and indirect questions in the prelims. So, based on the topic that Lucknow is being nominated as one of the UNESCO creative city of gastronomy, a pair-based questions can be emerged. Why? Because these are those cities who became the member in the gastronomy sector as well. Now, this Nectar's network covers 7 creative areas. First, handicraft, design, cinema, gastronomy, literature, media and music. But for the first time, the UCCN welcomes the creative cities of the architecture. So, it will be a new creative field in the addition to these 7 existing one, right? Now, what is the procedure? To be designated as the creative city of the gastronomy, the city needs to participate in an annual selection promoted by the UNESCO, submitting a proposal that answers determined criteria for, say, relationship of gastronomy with the city, the use of traditional knowledge, local ingredients in typical cuisine, sustainable production practices as well in actionable plan. Now, what are the benefits once a city got into the list? First is sharing experience, knowledge and the best practices with each other. तो हमको और सीखने को मिलता है बाकी countries से. Second, pilot projects, partnership, initiative associated with the public, private, civil societies, they all will combine together. Professional and the artistic exchange programs and the network, policies and measures for sustainable urban development and communication and the awareness raising activities where we ask the people to become a participant to make sure that the city will remain sustainable in the particular part. Now, one specific prelims based information that Lucknow joins the global network of 408 cities across the 7 creative fields. In India, total of 10 Indian cities are the part of UCCN across different creative fields. For say Kozhikode literature, Gwalior music, Jaipur crafts, Varanasi music, Chennai music, Mumbai film, Hyderabad gastronomy, Srinagar crafts. So, अगर आपसे UPSC बोलती है कि Lucknow will be the first city in the creative list of the gastronomy, तो statement will be wrong. Why? Because Hyderabad was the first. So, Lucknow कौन सा है? Lucknow will be the 11th one, right? Now, there is a practice question visible over your screen. Do practice it and let us know the answer in the comment section. Now, the last topic of today's daily news analysis is zero tolerance from form of violence. Chief Election Commissioner. Now the part is that in this article he was quoting that the elections must be free from any kind of violence. That means zero tolerance for any form of violence. So the topic is that we know that elections are the cornerstone of the democracy in India, which is the process through which the citizens exercise their right to choose representatives. But imagine the right to choose representation is being snatched away. Snatched away why? In Bihar during the 1970s or 1950s, say 1970s, there was a term, political term that was coined was that the wars of survival. The wars of survival, where we have witnessed that the booth capturing remained notorious. But after 1970s to 1990s, right, we know that there was a emancipation of the regional politics, right, and at the same time caste-based politics, caste-based and the regional parties. So we saw a systematic violence during this time, which ultimately led to the emergence of the new class, political militias, right? It was visible in West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh and different states. What exactly happened after अब 2000 के बाद की अगर हम लोग बैठ के बात करते हैं, right, that means onwards 2000. So if we talk about the onwards 2000, that now EVM हम लोगों के पास में आ गई. There has been certain reforms in the form of the elections, but still there was a something new kind of problems could occur, that was a voter suppression. Digital misinformation. And very recently the money power, right? So 2000 के बाद की जो समस्या है वो थोड़ी सी ज़्यादा है, but still sporadic violence has been witnessed for say in Tripura in 2023 assembly elections. There was a case when the opposition parties' booth stations were desecrated. In West Bengal in 2021 assembly election, the Supreme Court had to intervene and order the CBI to understand and to probe the case that was linked with the election based violence. So the point is that even after 2000 there are certain sporadic based violence cases during the elections in different states. So the point is, why are being taking place, what are the causes and the other thing associated. The first is, it can be defined in 3 ways. First, the pre-poll violence for say threats, killing, destructions of campaign properties. Second, poll day violence, booth capturing, ballot tampering, intimidation of political agents, clashes between the party workers. And the third, post-poll violence, that means communal crash, revenge killings that are often resulted after the results. Now the point is, why this thing is still visible. First is criminalization of politics. That means 2024 का लोकसभा, that means around 43% of the elected MPs have serious criminal cases pending as per Association of the Democratic Reforms. That means political patronage shield offenders, leading to a culture of impunity, and these people have a strong political clout over the region that they come from, right? So they have their influence over the particular region. Second, identity politics and communal mobilization. Caste, religion, ethnic divisions are often exploited for votes, triggering the tensions that was visible in Tripura and Manipur, where the local clash tied to ethnic polarization during the elections. Third, weak local administration. मतलब especially in the rural and the Maoist affected districts, local police and the civil authorities are either complicit or ineffective. Especially in the case of Naxal affected states like Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Tamil Nadu, Telangana wala part, Maharashtra wala part, and Odisha, where they face consistent polling time networks attacks. Economic interest. Elections determine access to state resources, contracts, and employment opportunities, turning them into high-stake contests, particularly in a region with the poor governance. And one more thing is misinformation and the online provocation. For say, social media platform amplify the hate speech, fake news, and targeted propaganda just to incite the violence. Example, in 2021 West Bengal election saw digital misinformation campaign lead to a post result violence. Now what are the consequences? होता क्या है इसका? तो पहला होता है erosion of the democratic legitimacy, right? जैसे कि the violence undermines the free and fair elections, discourages voter turnout, and delegitimizes elected governments. Second, suppression of the marginalized groups. मतलब the women, Dalit, minorities, tribal communities often face intimidation, preventing them from exercising their franchise. वोट डालने ही नहीं भेजा जाता उन लोगों को, आज भी डरा धमका के रखा जाता है. दिस इज द पॉइंट, राइट? पॉलिटिकल पोलराइजेशन. द वायलेंट इलेक्शंस डीपन सोसाइटल डिवाइड्स विच फोस्टरिंग अ साइकिल ऑफ रिवेंज पॉलिटिक्स, कि आज अगर मैं मरा हूं तो मैं आपको जाके मारूंगा. एंड स्टिल विजिबल इन द वेस्ट बंगाल 2021 के अंदर वहां पर यही हुआ है, राइट? फोर्थ, इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशल डिसरप्शन. जैसे कि the local economy suffer during the prolonged election related violence and public resources are divert to security management. तो जो पैसा अगर 100 रुपए लोगों तक पहुंचना चाहिए था तो उसमें से 50 पहुंचता और 50 हमें सिक्योरिटी अरेंजमेंट के अंदर बैठ के लगातार इन्वॉल्व करना पड़ता है. व्हाट इज द लीगल एंड द इंस्टीट्यूशनल फ्रेमवर्क? जैसे कि डिप्लॉयज द CAPFs एंड इम्पोजेस द मॉरल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट. अच्छी तारीख में वो ये काम करते हैं, EC, राइट? Uses micro observers, webcasting, GPS tracks EVMs to capture or to curb the booth capturing. Representation of the People's Act 1951 provides for disqualification of the candidates involved in the electoral malpractices, and it empowers ECI to countermand the polls in case of a large scale violence. और अभी ECI ने ये काम किया भी है पिछले साल, right? Law and order measures. State established election control rules and quick response team. Recent example for say 700 plus CAPF companies during 2024 Lok Sabha elections in the sensitive constituencies were there. Now, what could be the reform? क्या हमको करना चाहिए कि ये सब चीजें लगातार बैठ के बदल जाए? First is police and the administrative neutrality, right? Ensuring depoliticized law enforcement is critical for preventing politically motivated violence. Second, fast-track courts or for electoral offences. Quick adjudication and disqualification of the candidates involved in violence should act as a deterrent to other people, so that if the result will be timely, it will give a message to the other people that if I will be involved in these kind of acts, then I will be debarred from the election process. Third, political accountability. Parties should be held responsible for their members' conduct. So, the inner party democracy, the transparency in the candidate selection, these things can reduce the criminality associated. Voter awareness. Civil society and the NGOs must work with the government in tandem to promote the awareness among the citizens to effectively and rightly choose their right to vote. Technology and surveillance. Use of drones, AI-based monitoring of social media, predictive policing can help in preempt violent hotspots. We can use the methods of AI for the predictive policing. What is this? Recently in one of the state, the police stopped one communal clash all because of the uses of the drones, because ultimately they gave the message that the two different kind of mobs are coming in different directions. So the police did the predictive policing and stop the communal clash. So the use of technology and surveillance can become a beneficial for that particular part. So in conclusion, we may say that election violence represents a paradox within India's vibrant democracy, a reminder that ballots must not be replaced by the bullets. But institutional reforms, ECI vigilance have reduced physical rigging. Newer threats like misinformation and digital polarization pose the emerging challenge. So the need of the hour at this moment is that the political will, administrative neutrality, civic maturity, ensuring that every vote will be cast freely, fairly and fearlessly should take place. Now this is again a practice question over your screen. Do practice it. Let us know the answer in the comment section. And this is the subjective question based on the topic that we have discussed. Write the answer. In case you need any help, feel free to reach out to us at NextIS. I hope that the topic we discuss, we try to provide justice with the delivery and you people understood thoroughly well. Keep studying, keep watching daily news analysis. In case you have liked the video, do like it video and pass a comment. Thank you very much.